On the 9th of December 2019, the Russians were banned from all major international events for covering up a cover-up of the government attempting to cheat by forcing the athletes to take drugs. They were supplied by the government and were also covered up by the government. They have been banned for 4 years, and Russian athletes who have not been caught doping will compete in the Olympics under Olympic flag, not the Russian flag.
We wanted to get an idea of what one of our fellow students thought about this, and so we interviewed our friend Maxims. So, how do you think the Russians being banned from the Olympics is going to affect them in the future?
So probably hurt their reputation in general as a legitimate sporting country, because obviously they're seen as fairly intimidating in some other sports, like for example in the Ice Hockey World Cup that happens yearly. They've seen quite powerful, but they started to sort of lose that, and if they lose the legitimacy there, they may not have any legitimacy at all, since they haven't been attending the Olympics and won't be in the near future.
So, do you think the consequence of being banned for 4 years is fair?
I mean, yeah, since they're breaking the fundamental rules that were in the oath, so I guess 4 years, which is the length of between the Olympics, I guess it would be fair.
We wanted to find out more about the Russian doping scandal, so we went to see Mr. Thomas and asked him about his thoughts on it. So you know how there is a Russian ban on competing in sports due to the anti-doping cover-up? The ban, do you think it was a fair ban? And what would the arguments be for an extension of the ban?
Well, the Russians have been caught once already. They were banned a few years ago because they were doping, and they were caught doping. This new ban is because they have attempted to cover up what evidence was asked for by the World Anti-Doping Association. So they got caught, they were banned. In order to show that they'd learned their lesson, they were then asked for all the information they could provide about why they had been banned in the first place, and they used that opportunity to cover up even more. So I think it's a perfectly acceptable ban for the country of Russia. I also like the fact that the International Olympic Association has decided not to blanketly ban all Russian athletes. Any Russian athlete that has not been tested positive is allowed to show their stuff. They are allowed to show the result of all the hard work they've put in. However, they will not be allowed to compete under the Russian flag. And I think there has to be some sort of punishment for breaking the rules.
So what would people say whether it's a fair punishment or not, and why would they argue either way?
Well, I would imagine that some people will not like the idea of not being able to see their flag being flown. And I understand their disappointment, but they probably should take that up with the government, not with the Olympic Committee. I think it's a perfectly legitimate way to punish people that are effectively cheating.
Okay, so what steps do you think we should take to stop the Russians doing this again? Or what steps have
Well,
to take?
I'm not sure there's anything more we can do than trust them. And now we are going to actually have to trust them. Knowing that they have broken the ban in the past, they've broken the laws in the past, the rules, and knowing that they have then tried to cover up the breaking of the rules, we are going to have to hope that they've learned their lesson. We are going to have to open the doors to Russian athletes competing under the Russian flag, but we will test on the day, and we will do out-of-competition tests, and the Russians will have to show every single time that they are being cleaner than clean, because at the moment they've got an extremely bad, if you'll pardon the sports pun, track record.
Okay, so what do you think it stemmed from? Do you think it's more of a government issue, or do you think it was a peer pressure, athlete-to-athlete issue?
Well, I think in this case the government clearly wanted to show to the rest of the world that Russia was a first-rate nation, and they wanted to do it by having first-rate athletes. They are not the first nation to do this. We looked at other examples. Heidi Krieger was a member of the East German track and field team in the 1980s. She was pumped full of testosterone in order to make her bigger and faster and stronger, and they did so, and she was a gold medalist in the 1986 World Championships in the shot put. However, as we saw, Heidi Krieger eventually had to transition to Andreas Krieger because the abuse of the steroids, which had been given to her by her government and under medical supervision, had effectively changed her gender.
Okay, so lastly, what do you think about the Russians still being allowed to compete in Euro 2020?
Individual Russians that have proven that they are willing to follow the rules and want to show that they have put in the time and the effort to be world-class athletes, they should be given the opportunity. The government of Russia needs to be shown that they cannot play on an unlevel playing field, and that's exactly what they were trying to do.